Over the last 20 years, the enemy, if you will, for the U.S. and its allies, which you have helped with, has been terrorism, anti-terrorism in particular. Increasingly, the conversation has moved away from terrorism in the Middle East and more towards China. What do you think about that, and what role do you think you have to play in it?
Well, the public discussion has moved recently. But as you know from our many conversations, we've been very focused on what we've called the software war between America and its adversaries, where we believe, and as a company we've been saying for over a decade, this is not a conflict that's linear. So it's not like other conflicts where one country has a slightly better plane than another country has a slightly better boat than another. This is much more like what we saw in World War II, where one country develops a nuclear bomb and they set the rules. And we've been saying this in public, in policy circles for well over a decade. And because we've been saying it in public, we've been very focused on this in private for well over a decade. And a lot of the development on Palantir on the software end doesn't see the public eye for obvious reasons. But we've been very focused on what's generically called AI in the conflict or war setting for a long time, building on innovations we'd already built, the ways in which we work with data in bulk, and then data at the edge. And so as part of this conflict, our basic thesis was this is a winner-take-all conflict. The U.S. and its allies must have the best software in the world. We battled with Silicon Valley about this. Silicon Valley, I think, has changed somewhat. But we were well ahead of telling people externally this is something we need full alignment on. And obviously, internally, we occasionally listen to ourselves, and we've built what we believe are highly differentiated products, both on bulk data sets using machine learning and next-generation AI in a war setting.
Alex,
and also, yeah.
I was just going to say, you've been, though, very critical of other Silicon Valley companies that have stayed in China. A number of Silicon Valleys have left China. But what do you think of those that are still doing business in China? The biggest, of course, is Apple.
You know, we believe at Palantir in full disclosure. If a company wants to work in an adversarial country, I just think they should work there and defend it. You know, at Palantir, we have our views. Many times those views have been very controversial. We picked up and moved to Denver because our views were too controversial in Silicon Valley. We are an international business. We defend the U.S. government. We defend Western governments all over the world. We have a massive business all over Europe. We have a massive business in the Middle East. We have certain values we stand by. If you want to work in China or in any other country that is adversarial or not adversarial to America, you should disclose it and defend it. Our view, though, is slightly different. You should work wherever you can ethically justify internally and externally. However, if you do not work with the U.S. government, you should disclose why you're not working with the U.S. government and why you're working with other governments that are adversarial to the U.S. government. And that's been our position. We, of course, at Palantir are very proud to develop products that make the Western world stronger. And we hope that those products put us in a position where we decide what the ethics of the world will be. We, America and its allies, not just in America, right. And therefore influence the world in a positive way.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.